Well, that was probably a little bit more exciting than we maybe thought it would be. Welcome back on Buckeyes Now. I'm Brendan Gulick, and Ohio State just pulled off an 83-79 victory over Penn State in a game that, frankly, I think Ohio State for quite a while felt pretty good about. Heck of a start to the game, shot the ball well out of the gate, and for a while kind of had Penn State right where they wanted them. And then, boy, all of a sudden things just slowly started to slip. And wouldn't you know it, Penn State made a pretty good run, a pretty impressive performance, especially by Seth Lundy. The Buckeyes had a really difficult time trying to figure out how to slow him down, and Lundy went off for 26 points tonight. He certainly did what he needed to from the free throw line, but 4 3-pointers was, certainly a big point of emphasis. He hardly came off the floor, and Ohio State had to really kind of hang on for a win late. They trailed by as many as 8. They were down 70-62 and fought back to win by a final of 83-79. So here's some instant analysis from the game tonight at Value City Arena, and I think the most appropriate place is probably to start with E.J. Liddell. Man, really liked what E.J. Liddell did tonight. Obviously took care of his own business from the free throw line, and he had a big smile on his face after the game when I asked him about it. But if you can really rely on your big guy to consistently hit free throws, I realize this has been a good free throw shooting team all year, but man, E.J. Liddell tonight did what he needed to do to seal things. 22 points for him on 6 of 9 shooting was a terrific night. And frankly, considering that he was double teamed on almost every low post touch in the second half, I know that was kind of a struggling point for Ohio State, but I thought he handled the pressure as well as he could have. He turned it over a couple of times, and that's something he can do better. But I thought E.J. Liddell was exactly the leader Ohio State needed tonight, especially when things got really kind of frustrating in the second half. A lot of calls that weren't fun if you're a Buckeye fan. I think Ohio State had some fouls that they didn't like, and they fought through them. Kyle Young and C.J. Walker both fouled out of the game. Obviously, it makes things a little more difficult. But in my opinion, Zed Key was probably the unsung hero of the night. Key finished with 11 points. He didn't miss from the floor. Thought he was really solid in the paint. And certainly trying to guard Harrer gave him kind of a tough run. Harrer for Penn State had a nice contest. Double-double for him, 15 and 10. And I think this Penn State team, they've struggled to find the rhythm a little bit because they've been bothered by COVID, and they were on pause for a couple of weeks, and obviously their program's been through a lot this year. But man, all in all, I think that team is better than their record indicates. And when you look at the Big Ten standings and you see Penn State at the bottom of the table, it's natural to kind of lull yourself into, okay, this should be a game that, no problem, Ohio State's going to come out on top. And tonight was, a pretty good indication of why you can't think that way. The Buckeyes had an awfully big win over Nebraska early in the year. And as Nebraska has gone on to not have a great season, I think that lends credence to that thought you have to try to fight. Penn State's a lot better, in my opinion, than their record. And, their matchups were tough. They pressured Ohio State like crazy, especially in the second half. It was kind of like the tail end of the first half, and then the beginning, especially the beginning few minutes of the second half. The Buckeyes struggled with their pressure a little bit, and they allowed Penn State to really, put the hammer down for a bit. But I was impressed with Ohio State's experience tonight, maybe relying on some of those earlier season games that didn't go their way, where they were able to just take a deep breath and find ways to get to the free throw line, not give up too many super easy transition buckets. All in all, it was a gutsy effort. It was certainly not an easy night, but I think Ohio State fans should be proud of the way that things went tonight. Going to give you a quick look here at the full stats for the game. So let's pull those up for you. And I think all in all, Ohio State, did enough. I'm going to look at the final numbers here. You can kind of see, Lundy with his 26 points on 7 of 16 shooting. Obviously, that was important for Penn State. The big thing that's going to stand out on the Ohio State box score that's going to frustrate you is the poor shooting night from Dwayne Washington. He goes 2 of 11 from the floor, 2 of 9 from 3. But Chris Holtmann pretty quick in the post game to point out, hey, he had 6 assists. He found other ways to be involved, to make a difference. And, it's not going to be a perfect night for Dwayne. I think he's a pretty streaky shooter. But he certainly showed when he's able to, to string some things together, he can get hot and put the team on his back. But unfortunately, that 2 for 11 night was something that I think we saw quite a bit of early in the season, and that was rather frustrating. Justin Arns only played 22 minutes tonight. Just didn't have have quite as many opportunities to play, but he did hit 3 threes, and I thought especially in the first half he played well. I was most impressed tonight with Justice Suing. If I had to pick one player that I would call my individual player of the game, it'd probably be Justice Suing. Justice was outstanding, and if you look here at maybe some more detailed home stats, right? So 13 points, 10 rebounds. He turned it over a couple times, but he blocked 2 shots, especially a great one in the first half. 5 steals were critical. I thought he was super active defensively tonight, and really needed, the Buckeyes needed him to play that way. Michi Johnson got a couple of minutes. I know turned one over at the end of the first half, and Chris Holtmann took responsibility for that and said, that one was my fault. And again, I loved what Zed Key gave the Buckeyes tonight. So, look, anytime you shoot 52% from the floor, you kind of feel like you should win the game. 38 points in the paint is a really nice effort from the paint. Pretty clear that between Zed Key and EJ Liddell, he scored 33 points and combined to go 11 of 14 from the floor and hit 11 of 11 from the free throw line. Not sure what more you want out of your 2 big guys than that. That was a pretty nice effort. So well done by those guys, and hopefully a sign of good things to come for EJ Liddell and for Zed Key. And now if you're the Buckeyes, you got to try to, as Chris Holtmann said, you got to try to enjoy this and have fun and really soak in another win. That's now, 5 wins in 6 games. And I think the Buckeyes should, not just move on from this one. I think they should feel good about the effort they gave tonight, and let it be another lesson that they can, withstand some of that really nasty pressure in the second half that Penn State put on them. All in all, a really solid effort tonight, even though it probably made your heart throb a little bit. I know it certainly did mine. You win 5 out of 6, and now this team's really clicking. Last couple of years, January basketball for the Buckeyes hasn't particularly been kind, but this year it's been a really good month of January, and you got a chance to go play one more January game with Michigan State coming to town on Sunday, and that's a huge game. Michigan State obviously got off to such a great start at the beginning of the season, and maybe not quite as strong since then, but I mean, I can't remember a Tom Izzo team that has been poor or hasn't traveled well or played hard when they've come to Columbus. So, I would expect this weekend's going to be another really tough, physical Big Ten game, and the Buckeyes should enjoy tonight before they get ready for this weekend. Hope you enjoy our coverage over on BuckeyesNow.com, and certainly encourage you, whether you're watching this live or after the fact, you can follow us on all of our social media channels, Buckeyes Now SI. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and certainly follow us on YouTube. We've got lots of great video content coming your way. I know it's the football off season, and basketball's coming right down the pipe here, but we've got lots of great content playing for you here on Buckeyes Now. So hope to see you again next time. And Buckeyes with a big win tonight, 83-79. We'll see if they can keep it going with the Spartans coming to town here this weekend.